Welcome to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of DAX Machina. I want to apologize right out the gate. We had some miscommunications going on, and we were unable to get Jesus Payan on the show tonight. He's had something come up, and we were unable to actually get him tonight. We didn't discover that till, well, not too very long ago, just a very short amount of time. But joining us is Fred from Alaska, Fred Roll, as you guys know him. He's got an amazing channel, and he's bringing out all kinds of stories from Alaska, and we asked him to jump in with us to talk about some of the news stories that he's talked about, not only on his channel, but maybe some of the ones he hasn't put on the channel yet. Fred, thank you for joining us, and of course, joining me is my brother from another mother, Steve Wildman Monrotis, and Anthony Canatella. Guys, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Great, man.
Fred, how's things up in Alaska?
Snow's melting. It's starting to get close to not freezing overnight, so I'll be out in the field soon. I want to hit the sweet spot before all the vegetation grows in, because we got a short growth cycle, so everything just explodes once it starts. You long daylight.
A shocking amount of mosquitoes up there for a cold climate.
Yeah, watch your kids. You
Might find a husk where your kid once was.
Right. Pigeons hide. I'll tell you.
We call them mosquito dactyls in Missouri, but they're tiny compared to the ones you guys have.
Sure.
Yeah. I use 100% DEET when I go out in the woods. I don't care if it melts plastic.
No, I do it here.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have to itch between my knuckle. Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Well, if nothing else, use enough of it, you might poison your blood to the point where you don't taste good to them anymore.
We already got a couple of questions. Fred, Jake Light wants to know, how's your cousin doing?
Yes.
He's doing well. He's supposedly supposed to be released tomorrow, or not tomorrow, I'm sorry, Monday morning. And hopefully he's all doing a lot better. They had to stick a needle in, do some draining. It wasn't, it looked kind of ugly there for a minute. But after 2 days, he went from ICU to the regular side of the hospital, and I talk daily, so it won't be long before he's on and share those encounters, a couple of them from the New Year Cup.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to those. Josh, how are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing all right. Been busy as hell for the last several weeks.
He said his headset was dead on Messenger. But he fixed it.
Roper swung by the house earlier, and I sent a green screen and that chair with him.
Oh, nice. Adam will love that.
So hopefully that works out good for him.
Heck yeah, that'd be great. Looking forward to it. How you guys doing?
Sure will.
So far, so good, but it's early. Quick reminder for everybody. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button and share the video with your friends. But I also want to remind everybody that there will not be a show this coming Wednesday or Saturday. It's my wife's 50th birthday this week, and we're kind of doing celebration over multiple days because it's kind of a big deal because she turned 50. So I'm making it special for her. So there won't be any shows this coming week at all. Just wanted to remind everybody of that again.
Yeah, make sure you invest in a lot of Kleenex, DA. Have it on hand, buddy.
Yeah,
I plan to.
Yeah. So you asked me something about sharing maybe something I haven't shared on my channel or with anyone before.
Absolutely.
All right. This happened about, gosh, what year was that? It had to have been in 1991. It was me and three relatives. We were going up to another relative of ours cabin up Gak River, and this is right by a place called Jim Slough, but it's about a quarter mile down. Anyway, if you're from the area, you know the area. This is on the Nushagak, just above Portage Creek. So we get to the spot and we're setting up this cabin because this particular person was an elder. And so we get in there the first night. I remember this trip real clearly because see, back in '91, I was still fairly young. You know, I was like 15, and so when we got up to this cabin, I had no targets for the 22 rifle that my uncle brought. Right, so as we're unloading, the youngest carries the load in the family. It's bullshit line to get the kid to pack all the stuff, but so I'm unloading and I get to the beer and hey, there's some targets, right? So I shake up a couple of these beers and I chuck them out in this little eddy where the cabin is, and I start plopping away with a 22. And oh man, I caught hell. One for shooting a gun without warning them, and you know, of course, the beer. But anyway,
Beer
so that
geese.
happens. Yeah. Oh, big time. Oh, and these are some salty dogs from the fishing boat. It was bad for me that time. So we all get into this. We all get into this little camper. It's one of those. It looked like someone took an old school '70s Winnebago and cut off the front cab part with the motor, and kind of skirted it in. You know, it was real shabby, real shabby. So we're sitting there, and they were discussing fixing this thing, and I take that 22 and I go off on this trail, and I I had no up until 2006. The hairy man was just something that shook a tree and ran off. You know, so I go on through this trail and I get about maybe an eighth of a mile, roughly something like that, and I start getting into this. It looks like it had been laid on. It's real hard to explain, but it was a really big, wide area. So I was like, oh, maybe there was a big bear or moose that just something was wrong with it and it walked in a circle, you know. So I get out of there. I get back over to the cabin, and they're outside drinking beer and doing something on the boat, and they want to go and check out a couple things a little further up the river. So we all jump in. We start heading off, and just above us is Jim's Slough. As the river cuts, Jim's Slough cuts back, and that's a notorious place for the hairy man. A couple of years later, one screamed at my buddy Rudy there. It's not a hot spot. It's just where they are. So we get up by the slough, and as we're getting ready to cut around the bank, something pops up in the river and catches one of my relatives' attention, right? So he backs off, and he thinks it's a harbor seal that we had seen a few of the harbor seals going upriver chasing the salmon. And so he thought it was a harbor seal, so he grabs the rifle, he turns and shoots. And this thing was about 80 yards away that popped out of the water. He shoots it. We go over there because there was a splash and stuff, and we go over, and it was a huge, humongous beaver, the biggest beaver I ever seen in my life. So I struggle. I yank this thing on board, and we're all talking about the beaver, and he felt stupid. He shot the wrong animal, and all of a sudden, just below, almost by between where the cabin or the little shady place was, and on the shoreline, about half the distance, because it was within view, this thing starts making noise up on the ridge. It wasn't very high, and so there's this noise going on, and everyone's attention's there, and we had killed the motor, so now we're drifting, and we're coming closer and closer, and it's like everyone's hypnotized at this noise because it doesn't sound like anything in particular, but like a snarling, like almost like two or three animals just going at it, but in a real primal kind of sound. It was real odd. Nothing distinct to really point out as, you know, one thing or another, just chaos. And everyone's hypnotized as we're drifting down. All of a sudden, my relative running the outboard realizes, oh, we're getting closer to this noise. So he snaps out of his, you know, little trance and fires up, and we start picking back up river. And we get about, two or three bends up, and they pull off to the side, and they were going to do something, check a marker for someone's. So they get off and they go back in there. Oh, stupid thing. I apologize, guys. Hold on one second.
No problem.
You guys still got me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is my Bluetooth not working here?
We can hear you, but it's a little tinny.
Yeah, sounds like he jumped off his Bluetooth onto his phone.
Yeah, hold on. It just makes it really hard to hear without it.
Oh, you guys are killing me, man. You need to stop.
I lack the maturity.
I'm trying to hold a straight. Well, I'm trying to hold a straight face while it's talking, and I'm not laughing at you. Sorry. Oh,
You guys hear me?
yeah.
Hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you clear. You're still a little tinny, but we can hear you fine.
He can't hear us, I don't think.
You can't hear us?
No, something's screwy with my earbuds. Hold on a second.
Okay.
No worries.
Quick listen. I got to reset the pods. Give me just a second here, guys.
No worries. Here after a while, though, I was going to let everybody know I have a new updated demo from Adam that I'm going to show off.
I'm looking forward to that.
A demo that I was not allowed to play through prior. Specific instructions do not play through because apparently he has some little tidbits in there he wants me to, crap my pants over. So.
Oh.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure we collectively will too.
Oh, probably.
It's kind of funny when you popped on, Josh. I haven't seen you in a little while, and I was literally just taking a drink when you asked how we were doing, and I almost responded, "Yeah, we can hear you, Fred."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I have to do it without my earbuds. It'd just be a little hard for me to hear you guys. I never needed a more expensive phone until just recent history. Up until then, the cheap, less than $100 phones have been fine, and now I'm learning all about space and blah 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 blah. So, the phone's kind of crummy. So we get up to the property, and they go. I'm sorry. What's that?
Your videos froze up as well.
Let me enter. I'll be right back.
All right, well.
Josh, what were you saying about the demo?
New demo. Adam's got some jump scare surprises in there for us. He knows I really enjoy those. And it's looking really good. I don't know if you caught a sneak peek of it. You kind of popped into the All-Tower show the other day.
I just missed it. I missed it.
Oh, yeah, showed off just a little bit of it. A couple people that might be here, I know were on there, saw a little bit of it. So we'll see what. I need to put my phone on mute. We'll see what you guys think when we get to that time.
Sounds like a good plan.
Well, what I was telling Anthony before the show is just recently I've gotten several encounter stories sent to my email. I've got to get those compiled and set up, and I'm going to talk about those on the show. We're going to get them on the Nightmare Hunter blog as well. Oh, looks like Fred made it back. Hey, Fred.
There he is.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Much
much
better
better
now.
now.
All right, these my earbuds ain't working, so I'll just have to. I can hear you guys better. So, all right. Oh, I so hate this phone. I don't know technology.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, my apologies again. Technical difficulties. So. All right, so they go back in and they're checking this for the property stakes. They were supposed to have been put in at the beginning of the season. The guy paid a lot of money for the surveying, so he went. They're just double checking for a friend. And as they come back out from checking where the stakes are and they're discussing whatever, I've been watching the river because there, like I said, there were seals, harbor seals chasing salmon, and it's rare to see them that far up in fresh water chasing the salmon still. So I was kind of getting off on nature, and as they get back in the boat, and we had totally just things going on and everything, that screaming, that noise was just dismissed. No one put anything to it. You know what I mean? So as they get back on and we start scootering back down to that cabin, we're coming up on that same position on the side of that hill Well, there was an area you could see from the river that looked like it had just been torn down. So it looked like it was just a bunch of missing vegetation in that area and almost like a big circle. So whatever was there screaming at us had went and just tore a whole bunch of shit down over there. And by the time we left 2 days later from that cabin, we heard a very similar type of behavior happening within very close earshot of that place. But what stands out about it as well is none of my relatives, all hardened, salty dogs, man, none of them wanted any parts of anything happening off in the woods. And when I had brought it up, just being a dumb kid, like, hey, why aren't we going to check out Harry, man? They're like, shut up, don't even talk about it. And, they're like, hey, if you behave, maybe we'll let you have a beer. And I wasn't worried about beer, but they left it alone. They wouldn't touch the topic. I tried to tell one of my aunties about it once we got back. And as soon as I started talking about it going down, he shut me off. He made me just be quiet about it. So with things like that happen over the years, you learn to just kind of keep it in, But that's an experience I've never shared. That was the first time I ever seen that kind of behavior, though. Them tearing up and just the vegetation in a big area.
Damn, that's that's not the first time I've heard. Where I'm sorry, where would you say that was at again?
On the Nushagak River.
Where's that at?
It's in Alaska. I'm near Bristol Bay.
Up in Alaska. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know that down in like the Appalachia, there's certain creatures they won't talk about. There's certain things they won't even say the name of. So just even talking about woodbookers sometimes can freak out, certain family members and stuff. So I don't see that as being too terribly out of the ordinary for them just to be like, we're not going to mess with that. We're just going to let that be.
Yeah, and that's our culture. We don't seek it. We don't, follow it and none of that. And, a lot of people chalk these things up to like, oh, that's just Indian mythology from the region. No, it's real life. And there's a couple small villages on the Nushagak River, Nustuyahawk and Kaliganik, that have a very rich heritage of the hairy man. I shared recently on my channel about the oral history of the hairy man they caught, put in a pit, and the next, after like 3-4 days of feeding it, they kept hearing it's cold, and when they looked in the pit, it was a woman that had been missing for a few years from the village. So, and that's part of their oral history. Right. And I remember hearing it when I was a little kid down in Dillingham, the same type of oral history of, people in Nustuyahawk caught this thing. But I also heard it just recently from 3 other natives, natives of the area from the village, 2 from Kaliganik and 1 that was from Kaliganik, but kind of raised in Dillingham type thing. But there's all sorts of little stories like that regionally that don't get as exposed as often. And that's what I'm trying to do with the channel, is just show an Alaskan perspective of all Alaskans, but primarily the indigenous people, the First Nations, because a whole lot of it's been so mythologized. It's almost a caricature of actually what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got a
And if y'all haven't been over to Fred's channel to check it out, it's called the Subarctic Sasquatch. I just posted the link in the chat. You guys should go over there and check it out. There's some awesome videos on there. Every time he posts a new video, I'm like, oh, got to watch that one. As he's one of the few channels I watch literally everything he posts. There's a bunch of channels I try to catch videos here and there, but I try to catch all of those because there's such amazing stories coming out of there. My favorite was the one where you said watch your children, because they kept getting close when they had their kids out there. That one really bothered me because I thought about the times I was out in the woods with my kids.
Right.
The
woman that shared that, she was embarrassed to tell me that she took the shot at that thing, and I said, don't be embarrassed to that. I would have been like, why'd you only shoot
the shot too?
I was like, why'd you only shoot once? But people they block it. They don't want to because they feel, I think, speculation, but I think if they speak on it, it'll make it too real for them. You know, if they don't talk about it, they can stop. Pat, just calm down. Sorry, my pit bulls are loose, so they may try to get in my face every once in a while because they're overprotective babies. I'm all right. Chill out.
Hey, I do have a question for you, Fred. You know,
Yeah.
I've read a lot of stories about some of the the Sasquatch encounters in Alaska and just animals in general out there. It's like, you know, everything's bigger in Alaska, you know, and you know, get the oversized wolves and the oversized moose and stuff like this. So I've heard you guys have some, you know, big ass Sasquatch. If you had to venture a guess, would you think that the Sasquatch you guys have there are your more traditional, you know, like the Patterson-Gimlin type ones, that, you know, the humanoid things, or do you think there's some of those Gugway out there, like the, you know,
these are more like a Neanderthal type.
Okay.
Like the one I look at, like my graphic art. I sent DA a picture that I drew, but it's real. It's hard to explain. Native American around the eyes, but it's melded with a flat nose, not one that, you know, is prominent and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Just very human-like.
Gotcha.
Not a protruding teeth or none of that. They're block teeth. A little more pronounced, you know, eye teeth, but nothing canine.
Gotcha. Don't have that hell monkey face that some of those the accounts of the Gugway have.
Right?
Fred,
No,
kind of
but
like this.
Yeah. Remember, I sent you that picture. You may not see it.
I'd have to.
But in that more of a flat, nothing, no snout, nothing like that. But massive. Now remember, I saw from the bottom of the nose to the top of the brow, and that filled that 18-inch window.
Right.
Oh. No,
I wanted to take a quick moment to shout out to William Bedard for the super chat. Thank you, man. This is for your wife's 50th birthday, DA, and vacation. You guys have a great time. Thank you so much. That is awesome. I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, something else I want to
bird-
let everybody know is there's another channel I found recently. While not quite as terrifying as the stories that Fred has, the channel is called Pine Box Tales. It's a relatively young channel. They don't have a whole lot of videos out. There's quite a few, but they're all short, like 10, 15-minute videos of different creepy things. And I just want to give them a quick shout out because they're really kind of a cool channel. So if you guys, I just posted the link in there if you guys want to check them out, like and subscribe. They're got 327 subs right now. I'd like to see them get a little love because they are putting out some really good content.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, you know, I barely scratched the surface. I only have like 25 videos up, but I'm seriously behind. Just with relatives alone, First Nations, just with them alone, I'm already behind. Not counting the emails I have to go through as well. So, I mean, there's a whole lot going on. Of course, you got to do certain criteria has to be met. You know, I just won't post anything. I'm from Alaska, so you can't tell me, you know, certain things about the state because I've been to all parts of it for extended periods. So, you know, someone told me, "Oh, you can't." What did he say? It had something to do with getting to Ruby, and I said, "Well, since you know so much about it, what's special about the Ruby airport? What's special about it?" And he couldn't engage me on it, and so I had to let it go. I mean, anyone who's been to Ruby, Alaska, knows the runway's uphill. That's just the way it is. It's right off the Yukon River. I mean, so, you know, certain things, and then, you know, it also depends on what they're trying to. If someone's trying to sell me something, I'm kind of immediately leery. But because of the experiences I've had and the stories I've heard from others, there's certain things that just stand out that I tend to showcase those more than, you know, like I got one actually that has to do with this elder shooting at some little people that they suspected of stealing children. And right after, there was a hairy man that tried to come in on them from the woods. So there's things like that that just kind of don't. Those aren't, I could share those, but it's not palatable for a lot of people. So things like that, what I'll do is I'm setting those aside, and I'll just make a playlist of those. You know what I mean? So those who are interested in those other more extreme experiences people are having or whatever, they could check them out. But
you could do what Cam Buckner over at Dixie Cryptid does and just say, this one comes with a warning, and, wouldn't let children under a certain age listen to this. This one contains graphic content. Yeah, I definitely listen to those. I mean, nothing like that phases me.
Right. But yeah,
Jessica's gone. Sorry. The Cryptid Huntress is on. Hey, here you go.
Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Yeah, to me, like you said, like the small people, the little people, then all of a sudden the Bigfoot shows up. It's like I understand. I know what you're getting at, Fred. I get it.
Right. I want to stick to the Hairy Man Project, not Hairy Man and Company. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm just
right.
Like the guide and the bush pilot, oh man, I can't, I'm not, you'll have to wait for the videos, their bush pilot notes, number 1. I think I posted that today. That one's real mild, and all his experiences are really mild, but there's 3 or 4 of them that are super creepy. But they'll be releasing before I go filming on the documentary. So, yeah, just some really out there stuff as far as their behavior. There's certain patterns I've noticed though. There's been, I think I got 2 tomorrow that are going up that have to do with, I guess what you might call a lone hairy man or rogue, if you will. It just there's certain parts of the rogue ones that I find especially disturbing, just because there seemed to be some kind of organization when they were coordinated to run around that fucking shack, man. There's so many aspects of it that really bother me, how they coordinate and do stuff. I'll leave it at that. And a rogue one, there's something about that just a pit bull off the chain. What if it's the problem child, so to speak? Right. And he's not allowed because he ate his little sister, so he can't be part of him anymore or something. Who knows? But there's just something about that just peekers, window peekers. Those are the ones peeking in the windows give me a rush because of my experience. So it makes it easy for me to relive it for people, and if I can't talk to them on the phone, I'll read through their email until I have a clear picture of what's going on in my head, and I can just explain what happened, explain their experience without sounding like a robot reading a teletype. Johnny did not play nice by the field, got snatched, that kind of thing. It just
makes sense.
Give a shout out. What's her name here? Iron from I guess she helps out Daniela once in a while on So
awesome.
She's on.
Thank you for joining us
on the show. What else?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to throw out there real quick. Go ahead, Fred.
Oh, I was going to say, when I'm done with the Hairy Man project, as far as getting the documentary done and all that, I'm also going to share little people stories, some of the mythology with that as well. And I have 2 potential people who want to come on camera and explain what they saw when they were at this particular place. So I'm hoping that works itself out, because when I listen to them tell their experience to me, and this was face to face at a friend's house where I met up with them, but it was very, very compelling. The way it was seamless. They didn't have to I don't know. It's hard to explain. They were very sincere and genuine, and that is one just eerie experience they had. So I kind of look forward to doing those, but after I get done with the Hairy Man project. Calm down, Tank. It's okay.
So I know when last time you were on, we talked about this, but we've got some new members in the audience tonight. I kind of wanted to touch on this again. What is your take on the Portlock, Alaska incident?
As far as what happened,
the town being abandoned.
Well, yeah, no, it was definitely abandoned for like 30 some people getting losing their lives. I think some of those, from what I was told from some relatives that live down there on the Kenai Peninsula, that some of the surviving family members had said some people were killing their rivals and blaming it on a little more than a handful of deaths from the Hairy Man. So
Really?
it was kind of like the Hairy Man was used as the excuse for people to, on some get back, some cannery disputes, price disputes on the fish, and some other, small town shit. So it was a mixture of things, and the Hairy Man caught a big brunt of that because it actually happened. He was snatching people. Who knows how many there was back in there, but they were eating them. They left a headless body in the lagoon, and that's just right there at the time. It was right there in damn near in town. That's obviously someone wanted to have whoever see it. They didn't try to hide it. So that's a creepy place, and I laugh every documentary I see on it because you rarely see them leave yards from shore. They may show different pictures and stuff, but you always see that water real nearby because no one wants to go back up in the valley where these things actually are. No one does.
No,
they really don't. They may go there with a camera and they may have a crew, but they want no part of it. They want to look like they're having an adventure. No. Yeah, it's a couple
I might be an idiot, but I want to go back there. I really do.
I mean, let's start a Kickstarter, DA. We'll bring the Ex Machina on up to Portlock.
I've tried to get. I keep trying to get him to do a Kickstarter or crowdfunding or something. Get a team going.
That's maybe something we should think about doing.
Right.
I would totally go. I mean, without a doubt, I would go.
Yeah.
I would say one thing with the documentaries I have seen in that area.
I'm not a. Pardon me?
I said I will say one thing. The documentaries I've seen, they've always got one dude with one gun. That ain't freaking happening, bro.
No, I alone will have more than one gun.
Right, and there's usually a lot of production, like when Discovery or whatever did their production shit, and the elders supposedly coming out on the beach to warn them about not being there and this and that. That shit don't happen like that, man. That killed it for me. I tried to watch it. I tried to give it an honest chance, but when I saw that, I said, no, that shit's Hollywood.
I watched the entire first series, but when they brought the paranormal crew in with the leaf blower, the chrome leaf blower to bless the area, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Leaf blower.
Yeah, and it's those kind of things. It creates a certain air about Alaska that's totally faulty. It's just like the Alaskan Triangle, okay? Mm-hmm. There's big hype and talk about that. Well, let me fill you in. There's far more than that Alaskan Triangle area that crazy shit's going on. It has nothing to do. It's just a catchphrase, something that a triangle like the Bermuda. It's everywhere. It's not just in certain places. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
I'm catching some feedback through something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Anthony's got a fan or something going.
Yeah. I keep muting when I'm not talking just to make sure it's nothing coming out of my computer, but it doesn't seem to be.
I'll mute mine. Hold on. And tell me if it stops.
Yep, that was it.
Sounds like it might be a fan or an air conditioner or something.
Yeah, or maybe a fan inside the PC box.
It's a laptop.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just a lot of half truths that these shows will show, you know.
Well, most of those shows on any network like Discovery or Animal Planet, they're about ratings. They're not about truth. They're about getting people to watch the show.
And you hope that you might get that crossover, but it's very rare to find something that find someone who feels like it's legitimate.
Yeah. I think the closest one is Expedition Bigfoot, but even then, I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
they've gotten some neat stuff, but yeah.
The last one I saw, the expert, the crew comes in on a, like a Zodiac, and the expert was carrying some kind of revolver, as a sidearm, and I think it was like a 357, and none of the guns are loaded until they get to the beach, where all these things are apparently hanging out, and then they're loading this revolver. And then they have a pump shotgun that they hand to one dude that looks like he makes coffee at Starbucks. And I'm like, that's who I want to give the big gun to, because Man Bun's going to protect me from the hairy man.
Right. Now that was the elderly guy with the younger college students, right? That went along on the trip.
I believe so.
Right.
The content was great, but the gun thing, I was like, dude, I live in the middle of a town of 160,000 people. And there are times when I'm traveling just through the national forest that I'm probably the third largest standing police force in the
right.
I'm not a gun nut, but I carry some firepower if I'm going someplace.
I seen that one, Steve. They're getting off the boat. They hand the shotgun each kid, with long hair and stuff. I've seen it.
Yeah, and he's loading it. Like, dude, those guns would be loaded.
Yeah.
Right. What cracked me up about that show is they set up some trail cameras and went right back to that fucking boat. Oh, excuse my language, sorry.
Yeah.
But they went right back to that boat.
Nope. I was thinking the exact same thing. Well, my wife got onto me because I've got a potty mouth, and I was watching the thing, and I'm like cussing at the TV like the dudes are going to listen to me, because it was recorded like 8 years ago or whatever. But yeah, I was like, okay, pump shotgun, I'm good with that. That's a great weapon. You load it with some slugs or some buckshot, you're going to do business. But at the very least, it would be loaded and ready to pump. I wouldn't be putting shells in out of my pocket,
And that's another thing, bringing up the shotgun. That's another thing that bothers me about the shots I fired that night on the Nuyaka. My first 3 rounds through the wall, it hit it. It screamed and the place shifted. So it had a reaction to my shots, but yet hours later, the one coming out of the tree line, it didn't phase it. It stopped moving forward, but it didn't buckle. It didn't, none of that. It ate 3 rounds from an .06. And it's like, what's the difference between the one that was by the window that screamed and obviously didn't like it to the one that was coming out of the tree line? You know what I mean? Those are the things that drive me to share my experience, because I don't have all the answers. I'm not an expert. I have researched shit. I haven't been in the field for nothing other than subsistence things, fishing, hunting, all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm not trying to sell myself as an expert. I am not.
Well, yeah, the 3 M1 rounds would have been enough for me to have had a little traumatic defecation over the whole situation, and that would have been the end of it.
Oh, me and Fred were talking about it today. You're shooting people on. I mean, a 45-70 round. I guess everybody knows the ballistics of it. I mean, if you're into firearms and if you've been in the service, and it's a devastating round to get hit with. And these things supposedly are sucking these rounds up. They're rolling, getting up and off. Now, DA knows, I know, you get hit with a 50 BMG from 2 football fields away, it's going to cut you in half. No doubt.
At the very least, you're losing the body part.
Right. But these things are taking
It's something
45,
vital.
70 rounds. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, that one buckled. That one did buckle, so there's promise there.
Right.
But it
Right.
still jumped up and ran off. I mean,
Right.
and he was. I think it was within 100 yards, and that's devastating at that distance. That is
Of course it is. You know, being a hunter, I know. DA knows. Everybody that has a firearm knows the ballistics of this thing. Has any knowledge of it? You know, I mean, come on, that's a big round. I mean, they were shooting buffalo with that round back in the 1700s, 1800s. They were shooting buffalo with it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Iron Dogger had asked if I'd been back to that area. I'm going back in September up to the Nuyakuk.
Okay.
As the third part of the documentary, I'll be going from Dillingham up the Nushagak, wrap around the Nuyakuk up to Tikchik Narrows, and then there's a chain of rivers that connect the lakes. Well, I got to hike past 2 lakes and then get to where the canoes will be, and then canoe on down to Aleknagik from there.
Well, she's in Alaska, isn't she, Fred?
I think she's in Oregon right now. Iron Dogger.
Oh, is she? Okay.
I don't know if she's back from Oregon. I know they weren't going to be back up here until at some point. She could probably say. I have no. I don't have any direct contact with her.
Yeah, I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her on the other lately, so she must have been traveling a lot.
I believe so. I believe they're down there visiting family or something, if I remember right. Her and Daniela were doing the Sunday conversations every once in a while. So,
yeah. But yes, stories up there, like you said, what we were talking about, they're more aggressive because of the so populated area where you are.
Right.
You know, like Florida, like I said, you know, we're up where DA is, where Steve is, where Josh is. They're more used to seeing people through generations and being taught, okay, these people, stay away from them. You know, some are bad, some are good. You know, by you, they're like, they don't see a lot of humans, I guess. So,
and they come in on you. You know, they will come in on you. If they're nearby and they don't like your presence, you're going to hear about it. You know, it's just what happens.
Right, and that's what we talked about. You say I've never heard a good story come out of Alaska where they were nice.
Yeah, I'm looking for them. I want to change my perspective here. I don't want to be so biased, you know.
Right.
But
another thing to consider too, if you've got a mammal this big, it's probably eating a lot of protein. You know, it's probably a meat eater, at least as part of its diet.
Oh yeah.
Okay. If you are, you know, talk about one of these critters here. Let's say it's in Missouri, because that's the point of reference I know. Okay, the biggest meat sources it's going to find, aside from some odd farmer's cow, would be a deer, you know, a black bear if it's really lucky, maybe a mountain lion if it's extremely lucky. Okay, you look at the fauna in Alaska, y'all got some big critters. You know,
yeah, definitely.
You know, a 2,500 pound moose, you know, a Kodiak bear. Yeah. I mean, you're talking some big ass animals.
And not counting all the millions of salmon that come back every year, too.
Yeah, but my point is, it may potentially have to be more aggressive. I mean, if your apex prey item is a white-tailed deer, you don't have to be all that vicious to take out Bambi. But if your apex prey item is a full-grown grizzly bear, you got to be a little bit meaner to make that happen.
Yeah, well, I shared that experience that was shared with me with the old timers. They went up into Bear Bay on their sailboat and watched that go down, where they basically played, you know, they drew and quartered the bear with their own arms and started scooping out the innards and the blood and stuff. So, yeah, they just don't, no F's given is how I would put it. They don't, it's irrelevant. They don't care if you got a gun. They don't care if you got a cat. They don't care about none of that.
Fred, have you? There was a story I heard out of Alaska, and I don't know if you heard the story as well, about a guy who was attacked while on his boat.
Do you remember the region? I've heard of two.
If I remember correctly, it was somewhere near the Kenai Peninsula. That he had been fishing in a cove and he anchored for the night. and he woke up because his dog was going crazy, and one of these things was on his boat. It killed the dog, almost killed him before he shot it, and it jumped back in the water. He managed to make it back to port and tell people what happened before he died, before he could get medical care.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Actually, I heard that when I was down in Homer from a relative about 6-7 years ago. I heard roughly what you had stated. I didn't. Again, it's only been recently that I have explored the topic, so to speak, and gone out and started checking out channels and that type of thing, because it's not in my culture to seek it out. But I heard everyone else, telling about their encounters and what they had going on. I was like, well, maybe I should just break the mold and step out and start sharing what I feel is what's really going on in Alaska, So, and I don't want to be some gatekeeper either of people's information. Like, people want to share pictures with me, but I tell them, if I can't share with everyone, I don't want them. I don't want to fill up my inbox with pictures that I can't show anybody. I'm not here to keep a secret. I'm here to make sure that there's a better understanding of what I see happening and what others have happened.
Yeah, that's something we've talked about multiple times on this show. Is one, gatekeeping is not conducive to the science and
Exactly.
keeping everybody on the same page. And it's in any topic you want to bring up, whether it's gaming or anything, but gatekeeping in general just really makes that particular topic suffer so much. To say, well, I've got pictures, but I'm not going to show you. One, if you got pictures, you're hurting, the possibility of growth, or you're just making things worse by, saying you've got pictures when you really don't.
Right. Yeah, and that bothers me, because for me, I'm raised, tribal, to where if someone in the tribe, so to speak, needs help, an elder, a cousin, or whatever, you got to be there to help. It's not a have to. It's out of that a common goal, type of thing. And I fortunately, there's a lot in this particular genre that really, everything's a secret. And I mean, yeah, you want to keep your safety from. You don't want a bunch of weirdos showing up where you're trying to do legitimate research.
Right.
Some things you just it seems like the secrets make things cliquish, and then you don't know what I know kind of attitude, and that doesn't get anyone anywhere. That's why when I share experiences, I try to be sincere and let it be organic and genuine, not I got nothing to keep a secret about.
Right.
If they're not willing to share it, then I'm not going to share anything, so, keep your pictures, not to be a jerk, just it goes against what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to,
Right.
Get goods to the people who want to know the information.
Well, we're trying to share knowledge. If you were a traditional scientist, and you come up with this great discovery, you publish it. You want this shared with the rest of the world. Granted, the stuff that you guys do, like you said, is more organic. It's more wild. There's probably some, maybe like Dr. Meldrum or whatever, that would be publishing actual academic papers, but the rest of us are, getting on our shows and saying, I'm not going to believe this shit. Look what I found.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people that have really good evidence, they end up getting shouted down by everyone else so bad that, they get made fun of, Joe Rogan had mentioned that, you don't have to, this Bigfoot person was shouted down by other Bigfoot people. So, there's more self-destruction going on than there is any progress, in my opinion. I mean,
back in the early days of the internet, back when, message boards were pretty much the only places you could find stuff on Bigfoot. There was a forums that I was a member of, and I told my story on there and basically got called a liar and everything under the sun because I couldn't produce pictures and all that. So I basically just basically dropped off the internet when it came to Bigfoot research for 20 years before I resurfaced and started talking with the show and the books. But I had nothing to do with anybody on the internet about Bigfoot at all from like the year 2000 up until just like a year or so ago.
Right. And I don't blame you. I mean, I got a comment the other day that said, enough of the shares are great. Get to the evidence. And it's like, I replied back, I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just sharing what's been shared with me. And it's not, to me, because I'm a knower, as they would call it. I don't need that reassurance. I don't need any, convincing of something that's looked me in the eye. That and no, there's nothing anyone could say to convince me that they don't exist, because I know better. You can't tell me what I've seen. And so go ahead.
I'm right there with you, Fred. I'm the exact same way. Nobody's ever going to convince me that I didn't see or experience some of the things I've seen and experienced. And I do agree that it's probably going to take a body before a normal science will explain it. But I also believe bodies have been produced before and were buried by the government because they have a vested interest in keeping this quiet. So I don't think if a person were to find a body, let's say you didn't shoot one, you stumbled across a body in the woods and you brought it out of the woods, I'd say you would be pounced on by multiple agencies before you could ever come forward with it.
Oh yeah, for sure. If something like that would, let's say I come up on a sandbar or a gravel bar on the Nuyahkuk River, and lo and behold, there's a hairy man laying there dead. Guess what? I'm gonna film an autopsy on the spot. On the spot, as high resolution as I got. So, and then stash that away, and then bring the body in. So.
And the thing about evidence too is it's not always easy to get. One, either you're not prepared because you're just out and about, or even if you are prepared, I know some people that have talked about it, that the shock of seeing something, you don't remember to grab your camera or take a photo. And that doesn't just apply to, I've seen like really bad car accidents, and you think, or you see something crazy in the air and you're like, oh, that's weird. And then like 20 minutes later, you're like, why the hell didn't I grab my camera?
What I saw,
that's less exciting than, seeing something like a Bigfoot.
When I saw that in LBL, I had my camera in my hand, but the thought of filming it didn't even enter my mind. I was more, holy shit, look at that. And even Nick Valente, when he was there with me, both of our thoughts was, let's get a closer look at it. We jumped out of the vehicle and started heading out into the woods. And I had my freaking cell phone in my hand with the camera app up and never once stopped.
That's why you almost need to have like a GoPro when you go out, actively looking, and just have it constantly recording, because you're never going to remember to pull the camera up.
You got to remember battery life. I'm going to be remote, so I ain't going to be able to recharge shit. So I have to be real strategic on these really long trips. I am going to try to coordinate, maybe a replenishment of whatever batteries I may need when I pick up the canoes and then continue on. But it's going to be quite a trip on the third part of it.
That's why I always take multiple recharger packs with me into the field. What I was saying earlier about, I think it's going to take a body. Having said that, I will never be the guy that wants to go out and bring one in. I would only shoot one out of self-defense. I do go armed when I go out, but it's only in self-defense because it's not the only dangerous thing out there. In Missouri, we've got, the Missouri derivative of the meth head, which is always out in somewhere and looking for a place to make that particular chemical batch somewhere. We've got bears, we've got mountain lions. There are all kinds of dangerous things in the woods in Missouri, and not all of them are Bigfoot related. So I carry a firearm to protect myself from these other things. And I don't even know that I would shoot at one that was bluff charging me. It would have to get pretty damn close for me to level and then just start unloading. But I don't want to be the guy that brings one in because I know what's going to happen. First off, assuming you get to keep the body at all, heaven and hell is going to come down upon you, but from various agencies, and they will do their level best to destroy you.
Well, they did come up with that federal law on the books that if you shoot an animal that isn't it known to be, in existence, that could be a life sentence or something crazy. So
exactly why I would only shoot one in self-defense.
Right.
Well, this is a seriously endangered species. That's a federal crime.
Yeah, I caught a lot of grief when I brought up shooting through the wall, with no provocation. Well, I disagree. It was all set in its eyes, and this thing, if that wall wasn't there, I could have reached out and touched it. I mean, it wasn't far away. So, and speaking on not using the camera, well, the only reason I was shooting, it was autopilot. I wasn't. It was thump, 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 but like me going, oh, I'm going to shoot now. It wasn't a cognitive thought. It was just boom, 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 autopilot. Like, get off me. Ugh. But yeah, it still gives me the chills because of the paradigm shift in that moment when it made eye contact, and I knew I was food. I knew the gig was up. Like,
yeah. So that's the whole thing.
Someone asked me
when I seen mine, I told you I was looking at it through a scope.
Right.
Okay. And I had a 308 with ballistic tip in it. And believe me, the distance that it was standing center mass right in front. I mean, yeah, I could have shot it, but like I told you, it looked more Aborigine and human to me than anything. That's what freaked me out, It was just, I was just like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, This is not supposed to be here. It's not supposed to be out here. And yet it's standing right there, 150 yards out in front of me. And it had to see the rifle. And it didn't, like I said, it just turned and walked right to the palmettos and just, that was,
yeah.
People don't realize one of these things, and everybody goes, oh, I'll shoot it. I'll take it down and I'll make millions and I'll do that. There's something that clicks in your head that makes you go, okay, this thing looks human. It might be human. I'm not going to take that chance. And it didn't threaten me. It didn't growl at me. It didn't rush us. It just stood there and looked at us. Now, like I said, TA and everybody, I think we caught it off guard. And the funny dogs didn't react to this thing. Okay? On the swamp buggy. They didn't even flinch. And that was the weird. People don't realize that until you see one, it changes you, changes your life.
Well, and you said earlier that as a lifelong hunter, it kind of kept you out of the woods after that. That crunching sound and the burning smell was your paradigm shift at that moment when you
shifted without a clutch.
Paradigm shift without a clutch. There you go.
Yeah. I can go fishing now.
And
when I go fishing out, scared shitless.
Yeah,
I'm scared shitless.
Dude, I don't check my mail without a pistol on. I'm damn sure not going out in the woods without one.
DA
definitely
carry with me, and DA knows what I carry in the truck with me. It's not just a pistol. I mean, I have an AR pistol, rifle with me. I mean, I carry that with me anywhere I go. If I'm out fishing, and I'm scared shitless. Now, I'm always like this, looking around. I'm like, okay. So,
yeah. Well, see, I carry for the same reason DA does. It's the Southwest Missouri narcotically gifted population that I worry about more than I do mountain lions or Bigfoot.
Farmaceutically enhanced.
Farmaceutically enhanced. There you go. Yeah. In fact, we went down to a Missouri Conservation Department shooting range the other day, a buddy of mine and me, and it was one of those things we had to drive like an hour and a half, and we went down 3 dirt roads, past 5 meth labs, and then 2 miles down a conservation road. And my buddy was like, "I'm kind of glad you're here with me. I wouldn't want to go by myself." And I looked at him. We had a phenomenal amount of firepower in the back of his truck. Like with the cased guns, we filled the bed of a Chevy Silverado with a tonneau cover on it. And I'm like, dude, we are the largest standing army in Texas County at this point. I'm not concerned about what we might run into. And 6 hours later, we burnt through 1,200 rounds. I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want with you if you're worried about Bigfoot. But we were just playing.
Even going down to Joe Bald when we were down there, the entrance coming in, just the couple of random houses, and one of them's got more tarp than it does house, and just got a little tricked out. And then you see the telltale sock hanging from a tree that there might be a lab somewhere back there, or at least a deal spot, and just weird shit going back in there. And then you worry about the cryptid that might be back there on top of that. It's just like, all right.
I told you Joe Bald was a creepy area.
Well, and Joe Bald, the thought runs your mind. I'm like, okay, well, I know what happens when a human gets strung out on meth. What happens if a dog man got a hold of it?
Well, and then when Adam and I were down there, then we had the locals show up that were just as creepy. Just that whole situation was weird. They were just very strange. Well, it's like they knew something was going on down there, and they knew I was down there looking for something, but they wanted to play dumb about it, but they wanted to overplay dumb, so they knew that I knew that they knew, that whole situation, but no one was going to say anything. It was weird. It was one of the weirdest
weird area
I've ever had with anyone. It's like,
Josh, they could just tell you weren't local because they could smell the fresh jeans. Jeans with a G. I didn't see you at the reunion.
Right. You don't want to be meeting your uncle cousin on
people whose family tree can be purchased at any lumber store.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Missouri, the only place where you can be your own uncle and brother.
Lene Perkins gave us a $5 super chat. She's always glad to support your work and podcast. Thank you, Lene. You are awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was nice. Thanks. I apologize, guys, for going in and out, but DA knows my issues with this wonderful laptop to have here in the tower. So if knows or anybody wants to, Josh, you got an extra laying around, throw it my way, man.
I would gladly do so if I had an extra one. I barely got mine going the other day. It was starting to overheat. Finally got a new heat sink for it. Now it's running a little cooler, but
Noah looked it up for me, what I needed and everything. They got them. I could probably pick one up for about $300, which is it'll do everything. But like I said, funds are tight right now because DA knows the backstory of it, but it'll get there. It'll get there by God's grace. But I make do what I have. That's about it.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, people, like I do. I'm a carpenter, so I do remodels on the side as well. And so, so many people with the cost, with the COVID delays and supplies, the price of everything up here in Alaska is outrageous. And so, there's so many projects and just shady characters coming out of the woodwork. And I just had to step away from it a little bit, let that crap calm down, because I couldn't put my name on, just the garbage that some of these guys are pulling with their customers. So I just, I'm over that crap.
Right.
So things get rough, man.
Yeah, we talked about it today, me and you. We know, I know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
So,
it's a shame because it's almost like they're forcing the hardworking people out and allowing almost like a welfare state. It's crazy. I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. Back to the topic. Yeah, I'm just get off the rails there on that real quick.
Hey, it wouldn't be a show with DA and Josh and Steve if we don't jump off the rails. So sorry.
That is the MO of this program.
Yeah,
Well,
I've learned the deal. I've learned it.
Speaking of off the rails, something I wanted to announce. Josh Turner from Paranormal Roundtable and Ken Gerhardt, noted he's been a guest on the show before. He's a noted cryptozoologist, are hosting a Dogman conference in Paris, Tennessee. This will be on August 13th of this year, which is a Saturday. And just thought I'd show the promo picture for it. If you'll notice the picture in the lower right-hand corner, I am one of the featured guests. So there's going to be a bunch of us. There's going to be a bunch of us there. This is if you're going to be in the Paris, Tennessee area. This conference is a one-day event with special VIP programming for the day before. So watch on my social media and on Paranormal Roundtable as well when these tickets go on sale, because there will be a limited number. I think they're going to limit it to, 500 because it's not a very big.
Are you going to? You're going to be in Tennessee? You're going to be there, DA?
Yeah, I'll be there in Paris, Tennessee to do presentations and set up a table with the books.
What day is that?
Nice.
It's a Saturday, April 13th. I'm not April, August 13th.
I should try to get there. It's not too far from me, really. It's only like 13, 14 hours from me. That's not that bad.
I just think you'd be able to get to see this ugly bastard in person.
That's messed up. Okay, that's true of you guys. You know that.
I could not get away with.
I know. Oh, I know. I know.
I'm going to throw that back up there, but it says location to be determined. That's already been determined. It's in a little town called Paris, Tennessee, and the reason they chose that is it is literally within rock throwing distance of LBL.
Nice.
It's the closest venue they could get without being inside LBL. And I'm planning on being in that area for the entire weekend and probably going to go into LBL on Sunday. So if anybody wants to be there and go into LBL with me, that would be a great time to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to try my damnedest to get there, man.
What month is that? I'm sorry.
It's in August 13th. It's a Saturday.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm going to try my damn Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I am on vacation that week. Right now, the plan is that I'm going to be out of the country, but if I get back in country by that point, or I know I'm going to be, I may meet up with you down there just to,
I'll probably go as well.
Poke and aggravate.
I've got to get a tow package put on the Rogue and pick up a small trailer for the books because I intend to bring a lot of books.
Good.
And you'll probably sell every damn one of them.
Speaking of books, someone asked any news on the fantasy novel.
The fantasy novel is just over 28,000 words now. I've got 5 writing projects going right now. I've got the fantasy novel, a sci-fi project, the 5th book of the Apex Predator series, a short story about Margolin, and the next Steve Lilly story, all going at the same time. So I'm trying to concentrate on getting Apex Predator 5 done first, but the first book of the fantasy series I'm hoping to have done in the next month or 2.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing
all that. It might be earlier
that.
than that. Don't hold me to that, but it might be earlier than that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be...
Hooters Transport says I'll be featured as an accidental survivor of a dogman stalking.
Yeah.
That would be me and Steve.
Yeah.
Truth. Yeah, it's I am curious to find out if we ever, just for my own personal selfish interest, if we ever find out more about Steve's backstory in the Wild Hunt books.
Oh, that's going to happen at some point.
The guy owns a bar. Chances are he's probably, likes to drink himself because he makes a pretty wild cocktails in those books. And then one would assume he's seen some shit, especially being an ex-cop.
Speaking of the new Apex Predator book, if you guys are members of the Patreon community, it's patreon.com/DA Roberts Author. I just posted the prelude, the first opening chapter of the new book on the Patreon for the patrons to read. It's been getting some pretty positive feedback. Literally the first chapter, it's not edited, it's the raw chapter. So there's probably going to be some editing mistakes. But the first chapter of Apex Predator 5 is available for the patrons to read on Patreon right now.
Nice. And you got the other one coming out on what? Audible? Audiobook?
It looks like Cam is getting close to being done with Codename Wild Hunt 2, Curse of the Wendigo. I was supposed to talk to Cam on the phone sometime before now, but he's just super busy right now. He just finished the Jack LaFountain audiobook, and I know mine was next, and he was pretty close to being done. So I'm trying to set down time when him and I can chat on the phone for a while, but the dude is super busy.
All right, cool. That's cool. Very cool. Oh, Josh, before you get off, when we do get off, DA, Steve, Josh, everybody stay on. I don't know can we stay on and talk without being on the air?
Yeah, we always do. You
just leave.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Well, I didn't
too cool to hang out
know
with
that. You should have said something. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, now I feel like an asshole. But okay, thanks.
Yeah, we start ending the show and you just disappear. We always hang around for like 10 minutes afterwards and just talk.
Yeah, the outro goes out and then you're gone and we're like, oh well.
There you go.
The outro's out. The outro starts playing.
No wonder why. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
You're
You just figure you run around having a cigarette and a smile, you know?
Nice. Yeah. But yeah, I want to talk to you guys about something. I mean, mainly to Josh and DA, because the connections that I've made through getting all the guests and stuff. So I can do some serious damage with something that's coming out.
Really?
So
kind of interesting to know what that is.
Yeah.
One thing I also wanted to mention is that over the last, since this show started, I've been telling everybody I've got the email address daroberts@daroberts.net, and if you've had an encounter or a story of your own you'd like to share, to send me an email, and I get one here and there, but I've gotten like 6 in the last few days.
Nice.
I would like to be able to share those tonight, but I have not had a chance to go through and like set them up where I've got them like cue card style where I can read off of them while I'm on the air. And I want to go through them and do the same thing I did with the last one I posted on the Nightmare Hunter blog. That was my buddy that came on the other night. Robbie Raines came on. And he came on the show and told his story. Well, it was his encounter I posted on the Nightmare Hunter. And again, the only thing I did to that was go through and look for like editing, like grammar and punctuation mistakes. I didn't change any of the wording. That was all his words. I just set it up and set the grammar for flow. And that's what I want to do with these before I start sharing them. I want to have a chance to go over the stories. I'm going to post them one at a time on the Nightmare Hunter blog, and then we'll start sharing them on the show. And I've got permission from everybody that's sent to share the story. But I want to email them all back and see if they want me to keep their name out of it or not. So I need to do that too before I share them.
I'll tell you what. The only shitty part about everybody being in different parts of the country, it's like, now that I consider Fred a good friend now, and Josh and DA and Steve, and that's the only shitty part. But I mean, doing this together on here, it's how can I put this without being mushy? And I'm not going to get mushy, but it gave me a purpose. So
I get it.
Actually gave me
it's awesome.
And I appreciate it, guys, really a lot, and everybody that's listening. And so,
Part of the reason we do this show is because of this. I think DA described it to a guest one time, and actually frequently to guests before the show. This isn't a real formal, interview kind of thing. This is 2 to 5 of us sitting around having a beer, figuratively, some literally, just talking stuff. The kind of stuff you do at a campfire. If we were at a campfire in LBL right now, talking shit, this is what we'd be doing.
June.
June.
Well, Josh, you can talk about it. I wanted to do a quick shout out to Daniel Sanford, though. He just joined the channel and became a Nightmare Hunter level. So awesome! Thank you for joining the channel, sir.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, and go to Fred's page, guys. Go to anybody that's listening. Hit Fred's page up. He's got some crazy stories on there. He's part of the family now. More help out there. Like I said, I share whatever I could share with any channel that are close to us. I don't keep anything a secret.
Yeah,
and
DA's always been supportive.
I'm happy. I'm happy to do it. I just posted your channel again in the chat. If anybody hasn't checked his channel out, go over there and like and subscribe, share that channel as well. Let's see if we can help it grow.
Yeah.
I haven't really advertised it much, like, trying to get on anybody's show in particular to kind of promote it. I just started putting out videos and just, hey, if it takes off, and people want to hear it, then it'll be evident. You know what I mean? So, and it's been growing. I was at like 560 subs before this show started today. So I've only been doing it
right now.
Oh, okay. Well, it's gone up. So,
yeah,
and
man.
I just started like less than 3 weeks ago, so we'll see how it works out. And like I said, I just try to be genuine and share it from a perspective of someone who's been through that kind of shit. So,
heck yeah, absolutely.
I don't know who Meg Mills is, but thank you. That's awesome.
It's one of our mods.
Yep.
Meg's one of the mods in the chat room.
She's been around since one of the first couple of
very
shows.
beginning, yeah.
Thank you, Meg.
We're over a year old now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we are coming up on our 100th episode.
Ooh, got to do something big.
This is episode 98. Although next Saturday would have been our 100th episode, but I'm taking this following week off. So why don't we do something special for the 100th episode?
That's true.
Too bad we weren't going to LBL before that.
Yeah.
Because you'd mentioned June, or I'd mentioned June. We're actually, Alltower is going down to LBL. I think DA is going to try to get down there. Steve, if you're available to come down, you're more than welcome to. You're muted, bud.
Sorry about that.
I see him talking.
Unfortunately, I'm what happens when you give a dumbass a smartphone. I was asking you when you were talking about the.
What we're talking about, June 11th? Is that it, DA? That sounds about right.
I think that was the time.
June 11th. It's that weekend. That we're all showing up various different days, but basically the 10th through like the 12th or 13th. That weekend.
Wanted to shoot some promo video for the upcoming game.
Yep. Awesome. And try to get some more stuff for the Ex Machina channel, some more content for that, and all kinds we haven't all seen each other in a while, so just all hang out in a really cool place, and
we could celebrate our birthdays because my birthday's in June and DA's is in June.
Mine's only a couple weeks after that in July.
There you go.
All of our birthdays here in our family run just quick. Annette's is May 2nd. My middle son Nick is on the 23rd of May.
Oh, wow.
Then I'm on June 1st. Then Noah's is July. Our anniversary is July 10th. Noah's birthday is July 12th, and Nathan, my oldest, is on the 28th. So bang, 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 right there. Yeah. And of course, you got Mother's Day and Father's Day thrown in there too. So, May, June, and July are fairly crazy for us.
Well, I am off work the night before, so I might be able to make that happen. I will see what I can clear with the War Department and make that happen.
Now, I know DA is looking for something with a bed and a comfy place for his back.
I can't sleep on the ground, dude. I just can't do it.
No, and I don't blame you. Alltower Media, on the other hand, will probably be getting a Rough It permit and going right to LBL. We're going to be right up in it. That's the plan.
On a completely unrelated note, we'll never hear from Josh again.
Oh, Josh, Matt, Adam, and Megan. So we'll all be gone.
Next time, missing 411.
Well, who's the slowest runner?
Probably Adam.
Okay.
Tie between me and Adam.
You better shot them.
Adam can get pretty excited and get moving, so I'll just trip Matt.
Hey guys, not to cut you off there. I got some stuff I got to attend to. I didn't realize we had on for an hour and 20 minutes so far. But thanks for having me on, DA. Hey, fellas, I appreciate this.
Anytime, bro.
Thank you,
and
brother.
y'all
I
have a
appreciate
good
it.
night. Yeah, I'll get a hold of you later, Anthony.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Fred, you be safe.
All right, y'all have. Yeah, definitely. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You too, man. Hey, Josh, this would be a great time to talk. A great time to talk about the game.
I was going to say, if you want me to just roll right into that, I can.
Fire away.
So, Alltower Media, we've some of you guys have heard of it, some of you haven't. If you're new, basically, I'm a part of a group of a couple other guys. We're putting together. We want to be an independent game studio, and one of the first games that we're putting together is tied into DA's Cryptid universe. Well, his whole universe, really. I mean, when you get down to brass tacks, they're kind of all connected. But we are going to make
sci-fi.
Even the sci-fi and the fantasy.
And the fantasy.
All kinds of stuff. But the first game is going to be a standalone story that we're creating that just kind of has elements and loose connections to the universe. But we want to roll on into actually adapting the books into games after this one. We're going to be doing a Kickstarter soon. The reason we pushed it back a little bit, we should have already launched, but we want to get a more solid...
The hell barbecue sauce with the queso.
I couldn't help myself. I had to.
But if you're going to be the slowest one, you might as well taste good,
right? So where was
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So we're gonna roll on to the actual the books after that, and probably some other stuff as well. But we're gonna some of the stuff we're gonna shoot down to LBL is gonna be promo stuff for the Kickstarter, and trying to get together a little more solid demo going, and we should be having that up soon. So you guys keep an eye on for that. We're trying to get. I don't want to say any names yet because we haven't talked to them yet, but we're trying to get a bigger name in the cryptid world right now to be a part of it, do some audio stuff, and we'll see how that works out. But if you guys want to see, I'm going to go ahead and boot up the demo, and you guys can see what we have so far.
Well, Josh, if you got that person after the show, that person after the, just give me that person's name and I'll get him to do it.
Oh, we're in the circle.
DA knows what I'm talking Easter about. Eggs in the game. Trust me, there's going to be some Easter eggs.
Easter eggs, multiple endings, all kinds of fun stuff. So let me go ahead. I'm going to change the layout here, share my screen. I might turn chat off while we have this on as well.
Cool.
Off the screen anyway.
And you have not seen this either, have you?
No, I have not.
I have not. I've only seen the very opening of it, but I have not explored the demo. So, can you guys hear the music?
I can't.
No.
No?
Not yet.
All right, well, let me turn this down. No point in having the music blaring me out if you guys can't hear it. I don't think it'll share the music, unfortunately. It is what it is. There's not it. I don't think we'll need sound. I wish it would share sound though. That'd be kind of nice.
Just hum it.
We've got to get the whole hand first.
All right. So let's see. Do we want to do that view or do we want to do this one?
I don't want our pictures on that because you might miss some details.
Yep. All right. So this is what we're going to go with. We got our lovely little park sign here with all our missing photos.
There's also this one.
Yeah, either one works.
Yeah, that works.
It'll gain the same size. Yeah. All right. So if you guys want to keep an eye on chat, Adam, hopefully you've jumped into chat to answer some questions while I'm playing. If not, I'll try to answer them when we come out. So we'll go ahead and just jump into it. And if I have a heart attack, call 911 because I don't do jump scares very well, and I'm helping develop a game that has jump scares in it, so that's great. All right, So it looks like we start off. This is going to be the visitor center. There's no outdoor area yet, so that's why it looks like there's a galaxy out there. This is the visitor center of the park. Let's see, read this. Looks like some sort of visitor center. Am I floating in space? All right. I don't know all the commands yet, so put that away. See, this is what terrifies me, is just looking out into that darkness. You can kind of see some stuff out there, hopefully. I know there's a flashlight here. Take that. That'll help. Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, it helps make it even creepier.
You can get scared in brighter colors.
Maybe the breaker box is one of these displays. All right. Well,
boy, that's an old mag light you got there.
Yeah, it is.
Old school mag light.
Bauman Park was established in 1901 at the behest of President Roosevelt. He wished to preserve the natural beauty of the land. He just goes on about how Roosevelt's vision. Since its establishment, the Park Service has worked tirelessly to make Roosevelt's vision a reality, and have even reserved some of the deforestation while also preserving the history of the park. Here you can find not only natural beauty, but early coal mine, logging mine, sawmill, and even a miner's bunkhouse that's been converted into a hotel with all amenities. And so this is kind of a rough 3D map of the park. And let's see what else we got out here. God, this is terrifying. That's a dark ass corner back there.
It is. It's such an inviting place.
Looks like we got a little demo of a campground here, which is kind of neat. Looks like the demo of the sawmill. That's cool. You can see the blade up there. So the whole point of the opening, this is kind of ties into the opening of the game. You're going to actually help out the attendant who's on duty to go fix the breaker box. He has some information. It looks like the same information from before. It looks like the mine has a little shadow box of the Watchtower here. It is going to be called Watchtower 7.
What was that to your right? Sorry, saw something move.
Oh, what you're probably seeing is the light falling off of the trees on the wall.
I thought I saw something move.
No. Keep in mind, a lot of the graphics are only demo graphics right now. This is more just to kind of show off the mechanics and some of the stuff that we're doing.
Right. Not the final rendering yet.
No.
They're still badass.
Now, John, hey, are there going to be weapons in this too? Or
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
The whole point is you're going to be a volunteer at a Watchtower, and you're going to unravel this couple different mysteries during the game.
There was a door back behind one of the displays.
Over here?
Yeah, I think it was over there. To your right. Right. Other right. There you go. Back over there behind the cave, I think it was.
Over here?
Maybe it wasn't the cave.
Oh, shit, there is a door there.
Yeah, I seen that. There you go.
Okay, here we go, because I think this is where shit goes down. Okay. I'm going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm scared for you.
I think I'm...
It'll be a go. Uh-oh.
Did it freeze up?
Nope. Yeah. Adam, what happened?
Oh. Yep, it says exit.
I broke it.
Maybe you weren't supposed to go out the exit. That was probably my fault. Oh, I'm the one looking for the door. I was waiting for the jump scare.
Yeah, I was too. I think something. He said that it can get a little glitchy because, like I said, it was just a demo to show things off. Yeah. He's very early on into even putting graphics together. A lot of the work has just been getting the mechanics to work behind the scenes.
Oh.
Oh, you can run. There's a fatigue bar, so you can run. That's cool.
Huh.
You're going to need to run.
Well, you need to get an inventory where you can have your mag light, your barbecue sauce.
You do have an inventory.
Whiskey flask.
There has to be a whiskey flask.
There's the inventory.
Yeah,
full of
what game is that?
If they find a whiskey flask, it should have my initials on it.
Oh. Was it not sharing anymore?
Is it?
No, it froze up.
Oh, I
It
restarted
froze
it.
up on. I could see it.
Well, it's not
Whiskey
sharing
flask
it.
with Dalmore or
There we
Oh,
go.
there it goes.
there's the
Yeah,
inventory.
we're back.
No flask yet.
Okay.
I guess you got to find the breaker
There we
box.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Okay. So we do have inventory set up. Looks like I got to go through that door. Hopefully it won't get janky this time.
Well, hopefully something doesn't eat your face when you go in there too.
That would be also super
Yeah.
great.
That is definitely
There'll
non-conducive to the mission.
be a gugway behind the door at you.
Just
Okay. Right, so
I
okay.
just jumped.
Well,
Is that blood on the landing?
Yeah, that's
that looks
oh
like
God.
blood on the landing.
Oh, that's
Oh, there's a
good.
rifle. Get the rifle.
Oh
Yeah,
look,
it is a
it's
rifle.
Oh, a
a
shotgun.
shotgun and a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And a blood smear. Yeah, I don't think the shotgun did the last guy much good. I don't know if it's going to do you any good.
Oh, there it is. 870
hey.
with ghost
Oh.
rings. Look at that.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh hey, DA,
Screams doom.
do you see
Hey,
what's
look
on
at
the
that.
floor?
Nathaniel County Sheriff's Department. Wyman Grant
Oh.
would be proud.
Oh, there's blood
And
drugged that
more
way.
blood.
Oh,
Oh,
Follow the blood.
oh, what is
follow
going
the
on?
blood.
Oh, we've got a corpse.
Investigate the body.
Oh,
All right, graphics are getting a little laggy. There's zombies.
Oh,
no,
he's
he's
getting
dead.
up. Ooh,
Oh shit.
yeah. Ooh.
Die!
What the hell?
I'm not good at this.
Holy.
What the hell are you? Kill
Oh,
him!
Oh my
Get
God!
out of the fire.
there's
there's
more.
I'm dead.
Run, John!
All right, so
You're dead.
zombies are not in the final cut of the game.
What did he put in there?
What was that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Josh, you're now a zombie.
Oh my god! What the hell was
And then
that?
one appears to be dancing over your corpse.
Oh,
Oh my god.
oh boy!
Okay,
Poor Josh
then.
is now getting teabagged by a Wendigo.
Oh, I
That
can't.
made me jump.
Oh, that was.
That's what he put in there.
Congress says beat it with the gun.
Like, I just had an adrenaline jump. Like I could feel my heart pounding.
Yeah. That was cool. That was cool as
I
hell.
wanna
I'm
play more
sorry.
now.
That's amazing.
So yeah, the
Are you not
zombies
supposed to survive past that part?
No, he says it's possible, but it's really hard. You got to be able to hit the headshots perfectly. I was probably too far away because the shotgun has spread.
Right.
So you got to be right up there. And then I'm real bad about first-person shooters, so I was all over the place.
The shotgun has spread, and so does the puddle of feces that is now in my office chair.
So yeah, the zombies will not be in the final cut. That was just to get me, and he hasn't rendered out. I've seen concepts of the Dogman and the Gugway that will be in the game.
Oh, nice.
The concept of the Dugman, or the Dogman,
Dugman.
the Dugman.
The Dugman. We
The
need a Dugman.
Dugman.
That'd be amazing.
Still not on there.
I can show you a
popping up.
concept that is not will
It has to
not be the
reload.
final. It will not be the final Dogman.
Now we need a Dugman. That would be amazing.
Dig that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Why is this not working? My Facebook is no longer functioning properly. Hold on. Can't even close it.
Yeah.
It's probably because I'm got Restream. I was running the game. I'm doing all kinds of dumb stuff right now, so it's having fun. View media files. It's not.
That was still pretty sweet.
That was
There
pretty
we
good.
You know, I was
When
joking.
those when the body got up, I was like, oh.
Hey, yeah, investigate the body. It's fine. Everything's
the body.
fine.
It's good. The body at the end of the blood smear is always good.
All right, so let me go ahead and upload this. This is again, like I said, a quick. This won't be a final Dogman, but we'll get it uploaded here.
That was amazing, though.
That was really
unfortunately, I only own a Mac, so I may have to invest in a PC that I can. Iron Dogger is asking what the game was. That is the demo for Watchtower 7. It's
a game based on my books.
Yep, an upcoming title from Alltower Media.
So that's a pre-render concept. The final one will look different, but that's getting there.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say if I saw that at the end of the driveway or something, that would probably terrify the living crap out of me.
Let's see. Adam said there's ammo scattered through the station for you to, since I figured you'd need more shots. Yeah, well, if I hadn't died so fast. And health pack of a certain brand. Wonder what health packs we have in the game that we got permission to use.
Could that be Dark Angel Medical, perhaps?
It just might be Dark Angel Medical. Let's see. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Adam's in chat. I'm here. I can answer some. Hope the game makes it to console games, PS4. Here's the thing with console. And I'm feeling you've probably heard this from multiple game companies who have a game on PC. We would love to bring it to console. There's several issues to bringing it to console. One is development. So the PC obviously acts different than an Xbox. Xbox acts different than a PlayStation. So what typically happens is another studio buys the license to redistribute it on the Xbox and the PlayStation. They do the conversion from the original game, remapping everything to work with the console, the controllers. And so that's why sometimes when you see a game on console that's on PC, there's two different studios. That's why. So if that happens, that will most likely be that route, and that may not be for quite a while. So right now we're shooting to launch on PC only for now. Josh, let me know when it's ready so I can ask the streamer buddy of mine. He'll play that. Travis, that's what we're looking for as well. When we have playable demos towards the end, when we have getting closer to release, we're going to want streamers to play it because that's awesome. And they'll get free copies of the game, probably free updates as well. Like they'll just own the game outright. I prefer PC as well, Iron, but I do realize a lot of people do enjoy playing on Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and we would love to bring it to those. It just a really good example is 7 Days to Die. Runs great on the PC, janky as hell on the Xbox, and they couldn't bring all the updates over because they just don't work on console. They're also like 6 months behind the release dates of everything. So there's a lot of now if you're a AAA studio, you have the in-house people to do this, and you can keep like at the Hunter Call of the Wild. They release all their updates on every console and PC at the same time because they're a massive studio. So it just if we get to that point in the road, then sure, we'd love to do that. But for right now, we're just looking at PC.
Well, another thing, you have to consider the capability of the console too. When you're with a PC, essentially you're only limited by the technology that's available at the time.
Right.
With the console, you're limited by the technology that was available when the console was released, and everybody's got the limitation. I was a big fan of Myst and Ribbon and some of those other, games that were made by that company. And I remember they made a version of it called Exile, and I think it was like Myst 3 or 4 or 5 something. Right. The PC version is phenomenal, but they ported it to the Xbox and the PlayStation. And when you port it over, the graphics suck. Everything, the transitions aren't smooth. Instead of smoothly moving from place to place, you're doing these little jumps from scene to scene. Yeah. I mean, it was noticeably dumbed down.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing.
Ambient music changes depending on if you're being hunted, etc. We are going to do a lot with music and sound. So you guys couldn't hear it, but what's great is Adam dropped in some really creepy music that wasn't really, I won't call it music. It was like a low bass tone, which to me is creepier than music because it was just like a droning, it's like, stop.
Oh, yeah. It's like you in the horror films, you hear the strings in the orchestra, and they'll come in with this low kind of an ambient thing, and then it just gets louder about the time they're opening the closet door or whatever,
Yep. It's like anybody in the water doesn't want to hear doo-doo,
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So some different things. Like I said, we're gonna try to have multiple endings, different achievement levels. You can finish the game multiple different ways, and so there'll be like 100% completion achievements and stuff like that. What's cool is there'll be certain areas that you can't access unless you have tools or things that you've gained from another area, which may require you to come back to an area that you've already been to, and maybe it's not the same way you left it. You come back and be like, hey, that wasn't there. That trash can wasn't knocked over, or whatever the case may be. And Adam is really going to try to utilize a lot of cinematic angles, and make it more like you're playing a horror movie versus a horror game.
Is there going to be anything significant about the weapons? As in, well, for example, in DA's books, the artillery, the firepower play a very prominent role. And those who are fans of the books know that certain weapons appear frequently.
Right.
Kel-Tec shotguns show up. 458 rifles show up. Well, is there going to be anything along that line, or is it just going to be kind of generic, guns?
In the first game, maybe fairly generic. Just you have a shotgun, you've got an AR rifle or whatever that is that you find a 9mm pistol. Moving forward into the books, maybe we have to look into writing about a specific brand of shotgun. Not a big deal. Showing that exact model in game without talking to the owners of the company.
Copy infringement.
Yeah, we might get in trouble. So we could most likely get permission to do those things, or we can make our own knockoff brand that looks similar and have a slightly different name. So,
I was thinking, for example, Guncrafter Industries, 50 GI.
Right.
Somebody picks one of those up in the game, but the average layperson would be like, "Oh, cool, 50 cal pistol." People who've read DA's books would be like, oh, "It's one of them,"
Right.
So while we can, we would like to do that to match the book as closely as possible. Hell, Adam's even got software that will take a chunk of terrain from like satellite view, and it will render that chunk of terrain in game. So when he references a certain area in Missouri, we can actually replicate that in game. So when you go to, the what is it out there at Hahatonka, we can actually have the cave and the castle up on the hill, and we can do all of that. So that's obviously when we get to the books. So there's a lot of things we would like to do. A lot of it depends on the success of this game, the success of the Kickstarter. So if you guys want to see the games turned into, or the books turned into games, help make this game blow the hell up.
Right.
And the more the books are out there, the more the games are out there, the more possible we can also maybe get the attention of, a studio.
Which would be pretty awesome.
That's something. That's what me and DA were shooting around, because we have we have one good contact that probably could do it. I just his brain a little bit more. I think you guys know who it is.
Yeah.
And I'm in contact with him. I mean, I speak to him almost every day on Messenger. Just random shit we talk about. So I try to keep the communication flowing. So.
Oh, one last thing I wanted to say too about the game, unless anybody has any more questions. In addition to in addition to playing through multiple storylines, since you're unraveling something, some sort of weird mystery that's going on with the Gugway and the Dogman, you actually play with two different characters. You will play with the current character you start as, but you will uncover information about what happened by playing the character you are replacing.
Now, so can you play like a Bigfoot? Can you be a Bigfoot and a Gugway?
Not yet. Okay. So one thing that we want to do is a plan that we have without one thing that we talked about is when we get through the books, when we get to Team Odin in the Wild Hunt, we want to make that release a multiplayer release, and to where you can play as a team and one person can play as a cryptid. So it'll be an asymmetric multiplayer, kind of like if anyone's ever played the Alien game that came out, or the Friday the 13th game that came out, where you have one bad guy and then a team of good guys, and you can turn AI on one or the other, or all be players. And it looks like Adam answered Awissa about the can you be friends with a Bigfoot? He goes, without spoiling too much, kind of. They are Gugway, so probably not going to be making too many friends with Gugway. But there's something that happens in the story where you might be able to utilize their assistance, maybe by proxy.
I'm considering the achievements.
And if you want to see an example, if you want to see an example of that happening, check out the most recent Lakeview Man book. That's all the details I'll give if you haven't read it. But that situation kind of happens.
That's cool.
So, yeah, you just answered that in chat as well. I saw that. So yeah. So yeah, that's Watchtower 7. Look forward to the Kickstarter. We'll be dropping some more information. I plan on posting a lot more in Discord. Screenshots, little video clips, and then obviously when the Kickstarter comes, I'll be doing. We're also going to be doing dev updates really soon too. I'll probably just record them. I don't know if we'll do them live or not. Maybe. We're still kicking the idea of how we're going to do dev updates.
Something else I wanted to talk about, and this relates to the books. And this is something I've talked about kind of briefly in the Patreon. I kind of mentioned something along these lines, but this is just kind of not even letting the cat out of the bag, just kind of explaining the course of the next books. In the first Nightmare Hunter book, it was one guy, but as the next book comes around, it's evolving into the Nightmare Hunter project. So there's going to be more than one person involved with the Nightmare Hunter. Faces and names I guarantee you will recognize.
Well, considering the poor dumb bastard is rarely armed with anything better than a flare gun, I would assume that his life expectancy ranks right up there with a second lieutenant in Vietnam.
Right.
But considering I have witnessed the Wild Hunt taking heavy casualties with some of the best weapons that Uncle Sam could afford.
One last thing, since you mentioned the Nightmare Hunter project, I might as well just bring it up here too, and then I'm done talking. Adam and I are kicking off another YouTube channel in conjunction with the Nightmare Hunter project and Darkwater Endeavors. We are doing Abnormal Analysts. It's a show that we're already putting together our, technically second video, since the Joe Bolt one was the first one. We're going to be taking video clips, pictures, and doing some analyzing of them. And when possible, we're going to try to include the history behind the event or whatever that may have happened. And not necessarily to debunk, but we have seen a lot of photos that are easily explainable, that we feel that a lot of people jump on and be like, oh, well, this is a thing. But when you really look at it with an analytical eye, you start going, okay, well, that may not be a thing. Just to show that while evidence is important, we shouldn't be believing everything that's thrown up on the internet. I guess that's one of the biggest things. And then when we do find something that looks plausible, all the better.
Exactly. And I want to say a quick thanks to Meg Mills and Travis Drum for becoming members of the Nightmare Hunters level. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. And that is kind of a huge way to help support the channel. Helps us continue to grow the channel and to continue to bring content. anything that the channel brings in goes 100% back into the channel to help us be able to go film videos, to get equipment, things like that. So it all goes right back into trying to expand the channel. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much. I was going to say something. I completely slipped my mind. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up your breakdown of the Joe Bald video. What have you guys found anything new in it? Were you able to get any better enhancements?
We haven't had a chance to get to it yet. I've been busy the last 2 weeks. I haven't even hardly had any sleep. So it's on the list. Since that was one of the first videos that we broke down, we definitely want that to be one of the first videos that we post up to the new channel. And we want to go back over it and try to do a deeper dive on it.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. Oops, I hit the wrong one. God dang it. Nathaniel De Leon Vallejo says, "What were you guys' first encounters?"
I'll say I've never had one, so I will leave it to those of you who are more well informed.
I think our Joe Bald thing kind of counts, even though we didn't see it at the
time. You know, I'm debating on whether I want to call that an encounter or just organized stupidity.
I would call that a near miss.
Because I really didn't feel too passionate about it one way or the other until our good friend Nick Valente basically pointed out to me, pardon my French, that I was a fucking idiot. So
I'm sorry.
And I consider Nick a close friend, and I respect him completely, and he's 100% correct.
But see, can you really get mad at yourself for after the fact knowledge, though? Like,
yeah, we had no idea anything was
now,
there.
If you knew you were going out there to look for Bigfoot or Dogman, then yes, you making that.
We were shooting a book promo.
Yeah,
nothing more.
So to those who haven't heard the story, since we're on episode 80 something here in this show,
98.
Right.
So DA and I went out to Joe Bald Park, which is probably the scariest piece of real estate in all of Missouri. And we're doing this promo for the first Lakeview Man book before it came out. And so I'm holding a cell phone camera, and he's doing his thing in front of the camera, and we're both armed with a couple of small pistols, just because the local Missouri meth head is kind of one of the apex predators in the area. So I've got a little baby Glock 40, and he's got a 9mm on him. And so we shoot the video. We're like, okay, it's kind of creepy, but good background story, whatever. Like a year and a half later, was it you, Josh, and Adam that were messing around with the video?
No,
it was mentioned.
Dream spotted it first.
Yeah,
oh, that's right.
We got from that.
They were playing the video, and
we were just talking about it on the show one night.
Thomas Whitney, who is an old friend of the show, saw something move on the video, and so they go and play it, and it basically looks very much like a something very large, dog-ish, kind of ducking behind a tree as I pan the camera over. Of course, I had no idea it was even there. I didn't think anything of it at all. Well, while we're out, filming this video for the hour or so we were out there, I'm a 45-year-old type 1 diabetic. I had to piss, and so I relieved myself behind a tree, less than 30 yards from where this thing popped out later in the picture.
I think it was closer than that.
I'm going to go with less than 30 yards because it helps me sleep at night. So we're playing the video, and Nick Valente, probably arguably one of the dogman experts in the country, goes, "You realize that's basically a sign of aggression. You're essentially marking your territory and challenging the dogman."
Right.
And then it just got scary to even think about it, because clearly I'm in no position to challenge a dogman in any way, shape, or form. But it kind of goes to show you that you ignorance is bliss.
Come on, wild man!
Since I know about it. Yeah, wild man.
Come on, wild man! You got this.
I'm going to load up some of the pictures, and since we're talking about it, we'll just go ahead and talk about it.
I posted the link to the breakdown video in chat as well.
So
I don't even know if Anthony's heard
if
this
anybody
story.
needs it, diabetic urine is a
what?
broadband attractant.
You know, maybe they recognize it. Well, no, that would have worked not in your. I was like, maybe they recognize it as a weakness, but that definitely would not have helped your case.
Well, I am hoping they just recognize that it was different.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
if they've
that's
had
not normal.
they've had close encounters with humans before in the woods. They're like, this one's different.
He's diabetic. He's pissing all over the place. Right.
So the gist of the story is we were filming a short promo video for the first Lakeview Man book. It wasn't even out yet. We went down there, Steve, me, and my wife and his wife. Well, the girls stayed in the van while we hopped out to just shoot this short little. Basically, it was like a 1.5, 2-minute video. I was just basically talking about Joe Bald, and it was a creepy area, and that's where I was setting the books. And we were just talking about the books. There was really no plan to go down there and do anything else. And after a few minutes, we got back in the van. We went into Branson. We had dinner. We thought no more of it. Almost a year and a half later is when Thomas Whitney saw the movement, and Josh and Adam started breaking down the video. And these are some of the images they pulled out. And I'm telling you, it felt like somebody took the back of my shirt, pulled it out, and dumped a bucket of ice water down the back of my shirt when I started looking at these videos. Because up until then, I'd never seen the movement in the video. And now I can't not see it.
Well, you think you're scared. I'm the one who literally had a pissing contest with a dog man.
Yeah. Well, this one is an actual still.
Oh, this is actually the third image when it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. This one shows the area where it was. Let me bring up the next one.
And this was
there. You can see it.
Just
the edge of its head sticking out behind the tree.
Yeah, wasn't anything fancy.
And let me see which one I want to bring up next. You've got this one where the head is actually out, and this one's just kind of a grainy image. And we start seeing the shape of it sticking out from behind the tree. And at this point, there you can see its hand, and you start to see the shape of its head. And now, there's this one.
When we went out there, obviously the tree it's behind doesn't have a lot of marking features. But if you go back one image...
What's that?
If you can go back one image where the hand was. So this tree in front of it with the multiple limbs, we were actually able to locate this tree and pinpoint that tree later. That head was about we're shooting about 9 feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't reach the spot when I went up to the tree. But this one is the one that kills me, because this is when it was fully extended from out behind the tree. You can see the pointed ears. You can see the dog-like face. You can see the nose. It's not a huge stretch of the imagination. Now, this was shot on my cell phone. Steve was shooting the video for me with my cell phone. Had we been out there looking for something like this, I would have wanted to have a much better camera. But all we were planning to do is just shoot a quick promo video on my cell phone just for my YouTube channel, and we did not see this at the time. But looking back at this, I wish to God I'd had a really good quality camera to actually got footage of that.
We had to do a lot of color alteration just to get these images out. And that's the only alterations that we did was coloring. We tried to adjust lighting and try different color filters to change the color of the shadows. Because if you watch the original video, and this is the other thing, in the original video, this thing is not static. Like, it's not a bush or a branch, because it moves. You can see something behind this tree. As Steve stands around, it actually ducks back behind the tree. So it's not static, it moves. And the other thing is it's very quick, so something they would not have noticed while they were there, because it's off in the background. It's literally at the limit of the light that they had, which is... It's very smart on its part. It basically knew how close it could get without being seen in that light.
Right.
And we were able to just barely bring out these images because it, again, was right at the edge of the light stream.
Right, yeah, in retrospect, it was very concerning. And, after, Nick chastised me for, violating rule number 1 of dogman hunting, he asked, kind of casually, so what were you guys carrying? And I said, well, I had a Glock 27, with the magazine that was in it. And I said, I think DA was carrying like a Glock 17 or something. He starts laughing. He goes, I go out with a 10 millimeter minimum. You guys would have been dead. I'm like, yeah, we would.
Yeah. Well, I told DA that's my next toy.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm gonna
find
build
the
a
original
10
video.
millimeter of that.
Yeah.
You can't find what, do you?
The original the original Joe Bald video.
We can actually upload videos to your cloud now. I'm going to eventually upload the breakdown video, so you can actually, where it says add source at the bottom, you can actually play videos right out of the cloud of Restream. So they'll save right into Restream at full quality instead of trying to upload them to the little video panel on the side.
How do you play that?
I haven't uploaded it yet, but if you look at the bottom, see where the plus button is?
Yeah.
If you click that, you see you got a bunch of new options. One of them is video storage. So you can actually save videos in video storage, which is the cloud here. You can also play it locally from your computer, but as we've noticed in the past, sometimes it gets a little janky when you try to do that, depending on your internet stream.
I'm not seeing the multiple choices.
What do you see when you click plus?
It goes to the folder where I've got other stuff stored.
No. The plus at the very bottom of the screen by your settings.
Oh, I did not notice that one. Okay, so go to video storage.
Yeah, you can't do it now because it does let you upload from there.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
cool.
Josh, since you and Adam did a little bit more analysis of the tree after the fact, Nathaniel De Leon Vallejo asks a question. How wide was the tree? What do you think about 18 inches, 2 feet maybe?
Yeah, it was
pretty thick.
It was at least this thick, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since we've been out there. At least.
It's a big oak.
Let me see if I got that Joe Bald video in.
John Doe suggested Desert Eagle. There you go. 50 AE might give us a fighting chance.
That it might.
Yeah. You can't limp wrist that. Don't limp wrist it.
I might have to download that video and then
let me share my screen because I just found it.
Oh, you just up.
Yeah, 600 nitro is always an option too.
Because if you share your screen, it's not going to play any audio. But we really don't need audio.
You won't hear the audio. Let me go to full screen with this.
Yep, and then we'll go full screen with this as well.
Again, you guys won't be able to hear the audio on this, but the audio is not that important.
In the meantime, I'll go download the breakdown video and get it uploaded to your cloud for you. Because I don't know where in the hell I've got that saved.
And DA's just standing in the headlights
when I
of his
pan the
van.
flashlight. Yeah, I'm standing in the headlights of my van. When I start panning my flashlight through the trees that is now to my left, if you watch closely, you'll see the movement. And this is just the naked video.
Yeah, and I'm just chasing his flashlight with the camera. This is very kind of informal, impromptu.
When I flash back, at that point you can see it duck behind the tree. But it's really quick and it's distant. And again, we weren't shooting for that. So, but we did get some eye shine in the woods there. It was pretty high off the ground.
I mean,
that was probably a possum or something up a tree.
I don't even know if it was eye shine, to be honest. I know it looks like it, but there was a lot of bugs in the air, and there's the lake back there, too, that was reflecting light.
Yeah. Well, and it could have potentially been, fireflies or something, too.
Because one of them is stationary. One of the lights was stationary, which does have me question, but a couple of them moved on you.
But it was in the middle of summer, right?
That's pretty much it. But I'm going to go back. Now,
I believe
right
so.
Here,
summer or very early fall.
What you're going to be looking is, and I don't know if you can see my cursor on the screen, but you're going to be looking back in this area right here. Right in this area here. I'm going to try to rock it back a little bit.
I should have the video with the slowdown here in just a moment.
Playback speed, 0.25. Right there, you can see it start to poke out. It's going to be right there. And you can actually see it move. And it's more pronounced right there. Right there. So even MK Davis said it's definitely moving. And again, when we move over, it is starting to move back behind the tree again.
Yeah, I don't think it expected us to pan back over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when it pans back, let me...
Wait, what is that? Stop. Go back a little bit. Just a couple of frames. Go back a little bit more. All right. Now, as you play this, watch the... I don't know if they're like flowers in that bush or what. There's some like really light areas in the middle of the screen.
Something else
I
is
see
moving.
that. What is that?
I don't know, but whatever it is, it's moving, and there's no wind out there.
Noticed that before.
None of the trees are moving.
No, it was dead calm that day.
Look at it right there in the center of the tree.
Something is covering up part of that bush right there to block the lightness of right there in the center of the screen. It changes shape, which means something is. Adam, take note.
Ooh, right there. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's at 35 seconds of the 1 minute 37 second video.
How tall? How high off the ground is that in between those two trees? I don't know.
We didn't go over to that section because we've never seen this before.
Adam says comma and period do frame by frame on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, if you hit comma and period, you'll go forward or back one frame.
Okay, how do I do? Oh, comma and period.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm assuming period moves you forward a frame.
Yep, there you go. That's interesting. I've never noticed that before.
No. Watch it turn. The whole shape changes once you go. Look at it.
Yeah. Huh.
What is that?
More nightmares for Steve.
Josh, you need to analyze that.
This is all stuff. I've never even seen this before.
You know what? I'm gonna see the problem with
this video about 1 billion times.
The problem with I've half tempted to AI upscale this a couple of times, but the problem is when you start AI upscaling, the AI makes assumptions sometimes and can sometimes create things that aren't there, which is why I've hesitated. See, now that whatever that is, that leaf that was there, it's gone in that last frame.
Well, and you make a very good point, Josh. You know, these video editing softwares are designed to enhance what we know. And the artificial intelligence almost is like a synthetic pareidolia.
This is the point where it goes behind the camera, behind the tree. Look at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can actually see it duck back behind the tree. Right there. It vanishes.
Now, DA, go forward more because you can see a little bit of eye shine where it is. Keep going. Right. Keep going. You could barely make it out. Right there in the center. What is that shine right there in the center?
Well, that right there should be it.
Okay, now move it over. Move your thing over into the center of where you just pointed at.
Right here? Where he is? There?
Okay, move over to that black area. That black area between the trees.
A little
over
further
here
right.
Or
there.
over here?
To the left. Right there.
Right here?
What is that?
Okay. I don't know, but I'll move it forward slow.
And you can see it disappear. Is that a leaf or is that glowing, like an eye shine glowing, and then it disappears?
I think
hard to say. It does vanish.
It gets
whatever it is behind that tree.
That's weird.
As I move this back, as I'm starting to pan.
Well, Nick Valente suggested that because of the behavior, there was probably more than one of them.
Yeah, and now it's gone.
Right.
We might be getting confirmation there was.
I'm really glad we brought this up again because now we got more points to look at because we were
completely obscured by the tree now.
We were so focused on that one area that we kind of only briefly glanced at the rest of the video.
And that's this same image right there.
Yeah. That you could see it move when you moved it. It's moving.
Holy crap.
The breakdown video is uploading.
Okay, let's bring the chat back up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, Lordy.
It's okay, Steve.
Alyssa says, is there any sound on that video? Yes, there is, but I can't get it to play on Restream.
And
you can watch the video on my YouTube channel.
The sound
is
Steve
hitting the bottle right now after seeing that video or no?
I was hitting the bottle before the podcast. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if you were deucing it up more after seeing that.
You know, Anthony, this didn't have iced tea in it.
Oh. Well, there you go.
I want you guys to do a fresh breakdown on that. Because
Yeah,
now we got 2 spots of movement.
Yeah.
Possibly 3.
We got to go over it again.
Yeah. And like I said, when it happened, you know, a year and a half prior to the analysis, there was no indication of anything. In fact, actually, as we were driving to Branson to eat, my wife was like, that'd be a great place to catfish. You know, because there's a little lake behind it, you know.
I think you were
John
getting
Doe says, alternative high-powered flashlight with strobe feature to make their eyes regret existing. That flashlight is a ProTac HL5. It's a 3,000 lumen flashlight, and it will strobe. I just didn't set it.
No.
It'll look like a freaking disco in the middle of the woods.
That video's uploaded if you want to play it from the cloud area.
Oh,
yeah. He passed it off to me at one point, and the damn light was hot from the amount of
light that thing really
puts out.
hot. Let me see if I remember how to do that.
Hit the plus button.
Okay, then video storage.
Video storage, and then it should be sitting right there for you.
Okay. Is it uploading?
It's right there on the left, ready to load. It's in the camera area. Yep.
All right. We are going to take the chat back off the screen, and we're going to play this video.
Hey folks, Josh from All Tower Media here. Hopefully you've seen me on some of DA shows. If not, welcome. And
that guy looks familiar.
Right, real quick.
Who's that jackass?
The book promo video that DA did for one of his books at the Joe Bald Recreation Area. It's gotten a little bit of a stir up because what possibly could have been seen in the background. Now, just a little setup for this. Like I said, DA was recording a video for a book promo.
I think I could have trimmed my beard before I shot that.
His book, and him and his other co-host Steve just decided to go down and record, on location. Fast forward almost a year later, and someone said they saw movement in the background. Matter of fact, if you're familiar with Dream, he's been on some of the shows. We talked about him quite a bit. Good friend of the show. He mentioned that he noticed some stuff in the background. Well, they tried to look at it again. They didn't see anything. So Adam and myself stepped in of All Tower Media and said, you know what? We've done some image processing and some video processing. Thought we'd try to clean it up. Well, the following is what terrified the hell out of us when we saw it. Just to kind of set up a little bit over a bridge, you'll see a little bit of movement behind a tree and then ducks back in. Later in the video, I slow it down and enhance it for you to see a little bit better, and then show you some of the stills that we enhanced even better. Due to the quality of DA's cell phone, which, again, he was there to record a quick promo, wasn't, high quality or night vision. It did the job that he set out to do. So we had what we were working with, and you let us know what you think down in the comments. We know what we think, and, until we have more proof, this is the best we got right now. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.
Hey folks, D.A. Roberts. Out here doing research for books for the future and showing you guys the creepier parts of the state of Missouri and the Ozarks. We're here in the Joe Bald campground. It's been an abandoned campground for about the past 20 years. Army Corps of Engineers closed it down in the early 2000s. Allegedly, there have been a number of people go missing down here. It's pretty well overgrown. Pretty creepy place. Thought I'd show you around a little bit. We're here near Table Rock Lake. You can see the lake through the trees. Lake's up actually pretty high. Hear a lot of night sounds tonight. I don't hear anything out of the ordinary. There's just tree frogs and bugs and
typical Missouri sounds. I don't think we're gonna find anything really interesting. But I was really hoping. But wanted to come down here for a while. I've been down here in the daylight, but never at night. And it's a pretty creepy place. If you've never been down to Kimberley City, Missouri, and you want to come down this way, just follow the signs from Joe Bald Recreation Area. It's still open to the public. Just can't camp here anymore. Places completely overgrown. And really kind of neat. So if you get a chance, check it out.
This part gets me every time when it ducks behind the tree.
You can see the movement in that one too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one gets me because you can see the hand on the tree.
Yeah. This is the one that I can see the whole arm, the head, the ears. Even
That's
looks
the one that
fluffy.
scared me.
Yeah. Even looks fluffy.
Well, and initially when I first saw the hand, being the agnostic I am, my thought was, oh, it's a bear. And then we start doing the size figure, and like 9 feet tall. There are not 9 feet tall black bears around here.
Right.
So that's the end of that.
Yeah.
So what does everybody think? We'll open that up. Everybody in the audience, I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Okay.
It's going to take a little bit. I think the chat gets cleared when we.
Yeah,
it does.
I'm looking through some of the previous stuff. Yeah, it keeps going, so you can still look through the history. It just doesn't show up on screen. Long-term close interactions.
Wow, we went over 2 hours already. Wow.
Yeah.
And we're still relatively on topic.
Relatively.
Extreme pucker factor.
John Doe says a 9 foot tall black bear would be a cryptid in its own right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Corey, we have no idea. I mean, we speculate it's probably a dogman or a strange type of Bigfoot.
Nick
just
Valente
based on
thought it was a type 3 dogman.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is there any homeless people that live out there? Or no?
With a head like a dog?
No.
I mean, that was clearly dog-like.
Was it the Department of Conservation or whoever? People drive through there like law enforcement type people because, every once in a while they got to scare away the odd teenager that's,
looking for a quiet place to park.
Looking for a quiet place, right? And to enforce the no camping, they want to, chase everybody
some
out.
of those old campsites, you can still go to them. They're just overgrown. The weird part is that they have picnic tables at them that are made of concrete. Some of those concrete picnic tables have been broken, not from erosion. You can see where they've been snapped. And it takes a lot. It may take somebody with a sledgehammer to snap chunks of concrete off that are, this thick. And I didn't see any marks on any of the pieces I found.
Well, wasn't this the same place where you found like some donuts or something? Like somebody put a box of donuts down there?
Yeah, we were driving through there one day, and I looked up on one of the campsites, and you could actually pull up to it. And I pulled up and leaned out of the van and looked, and it was on one of those old picnic tables was an unopened box of Krispy Kreme donuts, just sitting out there in the middle of the woods.
That's weird.
You got to think, was somebody gifting something,
I don't know. That was the first thought that came to my mind. They might have been left as a gift because nobody was camping. Nobody was around anywhere. There was nothing else, no trash, no nothing. Just this full box of Krispy Kreme donuts set on a picnic table.
Well, if they're accustomed to eating Krispy Kremes, my diabetic urine might have drawn them in.
Maybe.
I can't. Oh, man.
I smell sugar. Donuts. Oh, nope. Just
Yeah, again, we're not going to say for certain what that is. I know what I think it is, but the video is all we got. And again, Steve and I didn't go out there with the intention of capturing something like that on film. We were just shooting a quick little promo video about Joe Bald because that's where some of the scenes in Lakeview Man take place.
Shit, you didn't even know about it until Dream pointed it out.
Right.
And even then, I think you had to watch it 5 or 6 times before you even saw the movement.
Yeah, I was like, I still don't see it.
Yeah.
Werewolf says that the donuts were a cop trap.
Yeah, probably. Well, I was a cop at the time. They almost got me. I
said,
narrowly avoided that one.
He said earlier, 9-foot cop or 9-foot crackhead.
Crackhead, yeah, there you go.
No, we lost Anthony.
Yeah, he's been. I've noticed his signal's been real weak. He must be having a lot of internet issues.
Again, I can't say for sure what that is.
Well, Owissa said something about the locals know about him. That was that conversation I had with that local down there.
Yeah.
Really got the impression that they were in the know.
Yeah.
Or at least there was something weird. Like, it was a creepy conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It was very strange.
See, I'm with Werewolf. Let's let Chum the dog man. Nobody's gonna be camping out of their way. He can have the fucking park. It's his.
Yeah, that is a creepy little park. Still have yet to get back into the other one that the entrance has been bulldozed off.
Yep. I think I'm spent for the night, guys.
Yeah, it's coming up on the bottom of the 2.5 hours. I guess we'll just leave you guys with food for thought on what do you guys think that video is.
There you go. Yeah,
Josh and Adam are going to
Discord, guys.
Josh and Adam are gonna be delving into that video, looking for new movement and trying to clean it up better. But it's an intriguing video in my opinion. And it would be different if we set out to go get Dogman footage or Bigfoot footage and then presented it going, hey, we found this Bigfoot footage. But that wasn't the plan at all. We didn't see it until someone else pointed it out. And that's what I find the creepiest about it, is because I never saw it, and nor was I looking for it.
And in addition to that video too, we're going to be doing a lot more on that other channel, which we'll share that channel when we get it up and going.
It's going to be kind of like a cross between Unsolved Mysteries and Thinker Thunker.
Kind of, yeah. And, definitely with some history when we can get it. Not everything carries history with it, but we'll try.
John Doe had an interesting question. He says, question, would dogmen be vulnerable to infection by lycanthropy? And I kind of wondered that thought myself. In fact, I kind of talked about that in some of the Apex Predator books. Kind of postulated my own theory on it, but we have no way to know. It'd be just pure guesswork.
Well, I mean, we're looking for the definitive proof of the lichens or the dogman.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I hope someday we find it. I don't want it to be me, but I want I'd like to see somebody find it.
Blues and G Music says, I'm thinking if they've had the rabies vaccination, they're golden. Well, folks, again, there will not be a show this coming Wednesday or Saturday, as I'm going to be in and out of town celebrating my wife's 50th birthday, among other things. And there are a few other shows throughout the rest of May and June where we're going to miss a few shows as well. And I'll post those as we get closer to those dates. But it's just birthdays and family vacations, that kind of thing. So this is the kind of the season. But we are coming up on our 100th show in the next couple of shows. and we'll be planning something good for that. I definitely want to announce that, and I've got a few other things in the work I would definitely want to talk about. But I wanted to thank you guys for spending the evening with us. I apologize again that we weren't able to get the guest that we had originally set out. It was just a series of bad timing and miscommunication. So I apologize for that. Hopefully we'll be able to get him at some point in the future, because I think he's going to be a fantastic guest. Anthony, thanks for trying to get him. We'll try to see if we can resecure him for another date. Steve, brother, thank you for being here.
As always.
Thank you, Fred. If you're still watching, hope you are safe and be safe up there, and keep up the good work on your channel. And Josh, thank you for coming on and showing that about the video, and then helping us do the breakdown on this video as well. I hadn't really set out planning talking about that video, but I think it's a good one. And when you guys get that video analysis done, we may do a whole show on the new breakdown.
Werewolf wants to bottle and sell my urine as dogman bait.
So did Nick Valente.
Can we put that on Teespring?
Bass Pro sells, like doe urine and stuff. So I don't see what the problem is.
Well, also pig urine. They sell pig urine too.
If they sell doe urine, we can sell doughy man urine. I mean, it's I don't see a problem with this.
Meg Mills says, have a great birthday, DA's wife. My wife's name is Annette, and she's actually watching the show in the other room. So if anybody wants to say hi to her, happy birthday to her, she is watching. She's kind of lurking in the shadows.
Looking in the shadows.
So, honey, I know you're watching. Your birthday's not until Monday, but happy 50th birthday, babe.
The key word is
happy birthday.
Supervision for DA.
Happy birthday.
So, guys, thank you guys for being here tonight. Anthony, Josh, Steve, and Fred, thank you guys for all being part of the show. Again, I apologize that we weren't able to get the guest that we were originally planning. It was just a bad series of events, and we'll try to reschedule at another point. And thank you guys for being with us. I hope you guys will join us. Well, I can't say exactly, but we'll say a week from Wednesday. Yeah, that'll be the next show.
2 weeks.
I don't have the show set up yet, but I'll be 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks, and we'll be back on a week from Wednesday with new material. So hope you guys have a great weekend, great week. I'll be thinking of you guys, but we're going to be doing some fun stuff and having a good time. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys being part of the show. Thank you for everybody that joined the Nightmare Hunters tonight. And remember, if you want to become a member of the Patreon community over at patreon.com/DARobertsAuthor, the Prelude first chapter of Apex Predator 5 is up over there for the patrons to view, and it's already getting some pretty positive feedback. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for support and showing and being part of the channel. And we will see you guys after my vacation. Hope you guys have a great night and you all be safe.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.